is very nice with cold ham. The mayonnaise was quite fresh. The mayonnaise from the grocer around the corner is much better quality than the mayonnaise from the grocer opposite. It is even better than the mayonnaise from the grocer at the bottom of the hill. Of course, I don't mean to say that his mayonnaise is bad. Yet the fact remains that the mayonnaise from the grocer around the corner is the best. Mrs. Parker goes to a Romanian grocer called Popescu Rosenfeld. He's just arrived from Constantinople. He's a specialist in yogurt. He holds a diploma from a school for yogurticians in Adrianopolis. I think tomorrow morning I'll go down and I'll get myself a big pot of real homemade Romanian yogurt. It's not often one finds the chance of such things here in the suburbs of London. Yogurt is very good for the stomach, lumbar regions, appendicitis, and apotheosis. At least that's what Dr. Mackenzie King told me. You know, he looks after the Johns children, the people next door. Oh, he's a very fine doctor. One can always have faith in what he tells you. He never prescribes anything he hasn't first tried out on himself. Why, last year, when Parker had to go in for surgery, he had himself operated on first. For living, although there was nothing wrong with him at the time.
How is it that the doctor came through it all right, and poor old Parker died?
Why, because the operation was successful on the doctor, and on Parker it wasn't.
Well, in that case, Mackenzie's not a good doctor. If they can't both be cured, a really conscientious doctor ought to die with his patient. The captain goes down with his ship. He doesn't survive the wreck.
What do you mean?
Well, yeah, like I said, if the captain can't... the ship, the captain, and if he can't be cured, what not?
Well, you can't compare a patient to a boat.
Why not? After all, your doctors are helping wrestle. All the more reason why he should perish at the same time. Like the captain and his ship.
Well, I haven't thought of that. Perhaps you're right. Well, what do you make of it all, then?
Yeah, it's very simple, really. All doctors are charlatans. All their patients, too. The only respectable thing left in England is the Royal Navy.
Ah, but not sailors.
No, of course not. There's the thing I can never understand. In the birth, deaths, and marriages column of the newspaper, why the devil do they always give the age of the deceased persons, but never tell you how old the babies are? It doesn't make sense.
It's never struck me before.
Well. According to this, Bobby Watson's dead.
Oh, goodness, poor fellow. When did it happen?
What are you looking so surprised about? He knew perfectly well he was dead. About 2 years ago, you remember, we went to the funeral. 18 months ago, wasn't it?
Ah, yes, I remember perfectly. Came back to me at once. Yet I failed to understand why you had to look so surprised to see it in the paper.
It wasn't in the paper. No, it must be 3 years since there was talk of Bobby's passing away. Yes, I was reminded of it by an association of ideas.
Ah, what a shame it was. He was so very well preserved.
He made the best-looking corpse in all of England, and he never looked his age. Poor old Bobby had been dead for 4 years and was still warm. How cheerful he always was.
Oh, little Bobby, poor darling.
What do you mean, poor darling?
Oh, I was thinking of his wife. Her name was Bobby, like his. As the two had the same name, you could never tell them apart. Why, it was really only after he died that you could tell the difference between the two. And to fancy, even now, people still get her mixed up with her dead husband when offering their funerals. Did you know her, dear?
I only met her once, quite by chance, at Bobby's funeral.
They the girl and boy, you know. How do they call them?
You know, Bobby and Bobby, like their parents. Bobby Watson's uncle, oh, Bobby Watson, has pots of money and he's quite fond of the boy. He could very easily take over Bobby's education.
Yes, it is to be expected. And in the same way, Bobby Watson's aunt, old Bobby Watson, could very easily take over the education of Bobby Watson. Then, if that were to happen, Bobby, the mother of Bobby Watson, could marry again. Has she anyone in view?
Oh, yes, a cousin of old Bobby Watson's.
Ooh, not Bobby Watson.
To which Bobby Watson are you referring?
Why, to Bobby Watson, the son of old Bobby Watson, the other uncle of the Bobby Watson that's just died.
No, it's not that one, it's the other one. It's Bobby Watson, the son of old Bobby Watson, the aunt of the Bobby Watson who's just died.
Oh, you mean Bobby Watson, the commercial traveller?
They're both commercial travellers.
I have just spent a very pleasant afternoon. I went to the pictures with a man and saw a film with some women. When we came out of the cinema, we went and drank a brandy and some milk. And afterwards, we read the newspaper.
I hope you spent a pleasant afternoon. I hope you went to the pictures with a man and drank some brandy and some milk.
And the newspaper.
Your guests, Mr. and Mrs. Martin, are waiting at the door. They were waiting for me. They were too afraid to come in on their own.
Ah, yes, we were expecting them, and we were hungry. As they showed no sign of coming, we went and dined without them. We'd had nothing to eat for hours. You shouldn't have gone off like that, Mary.
But you gave me your permission.
We didn't do it on purpose.
Oh, my dear Mary, please be a good girl and run along and let Mr. and Mrs. Martin in. We'll go and get dressed quickly.
What do you mean by being so terribly late? You're polite, you must be punctual. Understand? Still, now you're here, you might as well take a seat and wait.
I beg pardon, madam, but it seems to me, if I'm not much mistaken, that I've met you somewhere before.
It seems to me too, sir, that I have met you somewhere before.
Could it be that I caught sight of you in Manchester, madam?
It is quite possible, sir, since I come from the city of Manchester. But I have no clear recollection of it, and I cannot really say whether I caught sight of you there or not.
How very extraordinary. Goodness gracious. I too come from the city of Manchester, madam.
How very extraordinary.
Only I left the city of Manchester 5 weeks ago precisely.